Daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy.
I see Knoxville locations all around. Mr. Dan
That's
Sheridan,
right.
back in Knoxville.
Beautiful Knoxville. Yeah.
Rusty from the mines.
Yeah.
Called him up, said, hey, we need you, bud. Matt is on vacation this week, a little Thanksgiving vacation.
Yeah.
And so we are here because, as Good Origami Man says, there's nothing like spending time with your family that makes you want to get on a computer and backtest for hours. So
That's right.
That's good. How was you guys' weekend?
Good. I mean, in Knoxville, it was like really nice weather.
Oh, perfect weather.
I mean, you almost feel bad. Coming from Chicago, they have that kind of weather in November. It's like, come on, this is really a blessing, and glad to have it.
I know Rusty's working on Rusty's a man of many talents. He's a software developer, and if I had the skill he has in his hands, I wouldn't do any physical labor just out of fear of ruining them. But he's got a little project going outside. You want to describe to the people what you're doing out there?
Yeah. So my goal is to live like a Hobbit. That's my main goal in life. If I could build a hole in the side of a hill here in East Tennessee and live in that and just garden like Samwise Gamgee, I would do it. So on that note, we're building an English garden. If there's any garden people out there, kitchen garden, right? I guess is the technical term. So it's a pretty decent size, pretty large, maybe 25 foot long, 10 foot, broken in sections behind the house. And instead of just doing a raised beds with boards, we're doing it by stacking stone. And so it's pretty involved. Like I had to excavate by hand and then pour down the gravel and the paths and then pull out all the grass and then dump, I don't know how many tons of dirt, just shoveling it, dirt, stacking giant stones, thousands and thousands of pounds. So yeah, it's been a good project, good family project. My wife's helping, my son's helping.
You said thousands and thousands of, I mean, we're talking a lot.
So there's 3 like cylindrical containers full of rock, right? That we're using for this rock wall. And each one is between 3,000 to 6,000 pounds of stone.
Oh my.
And then there's, I don't know how many thousand pounds then we had 6 of these giant bags of dirt. Each one is a few tons. And so lot of heavy labor, which I like doing.
Yeah, no, that sounds, and yeah, I mean, it is fun with the garden, isn't it? I mean,
oh man,
to grow your own, especially, and it's not just, I mean, you could say from an economical, food is so expensive, but it's just, there's something to, if anybody's ever gone to a farmer's market, the vegetables there are different.
That's right.
The vegetables and the stuff that you get in a store, a little more expensive, definitely. Yeah. But it is really, but it's more than that. It's being out there. You don't want to make it mystical, but it is just life-changing to be out there and just in the fresh air and the not that I do. I've watched people do this. Not that I've done this.
Do you agree with the theory of it?
I want to make this clear. I have watched people do gardens.
Yeah. When watching HGTV, it seems like they're happy. I get that.
There's something, like it's hard work. I'm not going to glamorize it, right? Like you're getting your hands dirty. Yeah. My shoulder was sore. Like all day yesterday, I had a heating pad on my rotator cuff. Because anyway, that's an old injury.
It's like a weekend athlete. It's like, I mean, you're out there I mean, it's just like doing a sport.
Although I'm doing that in the evenings. As soon as the market closes at 4:30,
you'll go out there.
I put on my clothes, on my outdoor clothes, and I join my wife who's been working out there for hours.
Wow.
And I just start working until the sun goes down and we have dinner. So I'll say this, I think philosophically we're meant to be connected to, the cycles of the seasons, day, night, and all these different things in a real way. And it's kind of unnatural to just sit on a computer. That's why Troy calls me a coal miner, because there's something a little depressing about staring at a screen all dang day. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. I don't think we were designed to do that. And right. Just even when don't you feel different when you're, I mean, and people who are in the chat, when you're on a computer for 2-3 hours at a time. For me, like at lunchtime, going out for 40 minutes, walking in the fresh air, it does wonders. I mean, and you might see a neighbor occasionally, but it's just nice to be outside.
Exactly. Yeah.
And fresh air anyways.
Well, I've got my own problems over here. We're starting a project. I've got some structures on the property, an old shed that I say shed, but it used to be a killer workspace for the people who lived here before, and wood stove in there. So we're working on restoring that because we're going to have a new live from the OO office headquarters in the morning situation, hopefully. So working on that, ordered a bunch of stuff from Home Depot, worked on it all weekend. I think it's going to be exciting. You have to hike to get there, so Rusty might like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we're going to get some Adirondack chairs for the porch out there. It'll basically be what I do here,
nice.
But just up a little bit. So
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Anyway, listen, crazy times in the market.
Markets in turmoil.
Markets in turmoil.
What I haven't looked
pre-market.
I haven't either. Dan, what is the VIX at right now?
They say the VIX is I can't find it on my.
22.69 at pre-market value.
But down 0.75 of a point.
Yeah.
And
we're up. Last time I looked, we were up 45 points.
Up 0.5%.
Okay.
In SPY. About 0.5.
So here's the thing that's interesting to me about that. This is a quick cursory glance of like what's happening. You don't have to be a genius to see this, but vol is not coming out.
No.
Like that, they're not taking vol out this morning.
No.
So that's a interesting, kind of a market generated information.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, you would think that. I mean, my gut would say that yes, vol will come out this week. Candles will slow down, right, a little bit. When you think about the 5 days last week, just the dip. To me, it was. It's kind of given the story over the last 3 weeks. If you look at Friday, from low to high, in 150 point range.
Yeah.
Thursday, from low to high, you had 140. Now, Thursday and Friday were obviously recipients of, the fallout from NVIDIA, right? But even if you take Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week, you had about almost a 90-point move on Wednesday, and that's before NVIDIA came out. Tuesday, you had 100-point range, that pre-NVIDIA, and then Monday, you had 130. So in terms of that 5 days, that's got to be up there for, if you take out April, right? That the Super Bowl of moves on those 4 or 5 days. I mean, this has been, I would guess last week had the biggest ranges of any week we've had. And the amazing thing is, it's not like net we've fallen off the earth. As I say, all that is said and done, you look at, you take your iPhone and you look at, all right, year to date, where have we been in the SPX? Oh, we're up almost 13%.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And you're like,
incredible year.
There's carnage in the air, and we're up 13%. Right. 2 previous years of up 20. So I mean, it is kind of nice. You've got some premium. So I think for for range, whether you're doing double calendars or 0 day. I mean, I thought last week overall was pretty good for 0 day, right? I mean, usually in the NVIDIA week, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday coming into it are going to be pretty good for 0 day. You have, depending on how you trade it, whether you stay in it all day or you stay in it for a couple hours.
Yeah.
But Thursday and Friday, I mean, unless you are living on, in the rainforest in Brazil, you knew NVIDIA was, I mean, there was no like, oh, I can't believe it. I put a 0 day on Thursday and I
forgot about NVIDIA. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot about NVIDIA.
Yeah.
So but I think it's focusing on what the market's giving you. And I mean, let's face it, for people who do 0 day iron condors, last week and maybe coming into today, the nice thing is you're getting about 100. You're getting a lot more room for these things, right? So it's not like you're not getting any compensation. So I think it's interesting. And I mean, the last thing I'll say is, when I was in the trading pits, shout out to Tom Lee.
You were in the pits.
I was in the trading pits with Tom Lee. See,
none
of you know
Tom
Lee was
I like
actually
that narrative. I like that.
Yeah. But many times people say, well, everybody's doing the Thanksgiving holiday, blah, 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 and it's never busy. I don't know if you can you back test in the O and look, okay, every Thanksgiving week, kind of get the data on
That's what we're going to do tomorrow.
What it's been.
That's what we're going to do tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, good. Because what I've noticed is I used to always work that day after Thanksgiving on Friday because all the single guys went traveling. And so the few married men had to stay with the kids, had to stay, which was fine. We were staying anyways. But I remember some of those, it was slow, but I'm like, wow, we're up 1.5% in ESPX.
Well, Dan,
it's
I want to talk more. I want to talk more about that tomorrow. I mean, some of the wilder moves I can remember have been Black Fridays.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. So when we first started Option Omega 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have to look at this point, but I remember there was a Black Friday where basically like at 3 a.m. we dropped 100 SPX points.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Now we were, but the thing is, we were like at 3,000 at that point. It wasn't at 6,000. So like that was a huge move.
That was a big move.
And I've always thought that was super interesting because, on the one hand, it should be a chill week, but on the other hand, it's in my mind, and Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I see these times as like low liquidity. It's like brush fires. It doesn't take much to start a forest fire when there's not a lot of liquidity.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, when I think of Thanksgiving week, I think of like, okay, you go grab a sandwich, you come back. Wow. We're up 1% or down 1%. It seems slow, right? I mean, people do take time off and all that kind of stuff. And you got, what do you got this week? You've got interesting this week. Correct me if I'm wrong on it, but you have what stands out with news. Okay. Friday, we only go till 1 Eastern and Thursday we're off, right? You got that. But a couple days this week, I don't know which days it is, but it's like we have this new thing, delayed stuff coming in, like the CPI and PPI stuff that haven't been. So if you look on one of the market calendars, they say they're coming in delayed. So we've got some numbers coming in delayed. So what does that, it's like, could that, and I think it's like tomorrow or Wednesday, but those could be interesting. I don't know, but those could be when you say we haven't done a number in 2-3 months, and now we're going to come out and tell you what these things were.
Yeah.
I mean, that could, so I mean, this has got some keg in it this week, but I think, to me, the story is there's some premium here, right?
Oh yeah.
What you do with it is a different thing. And, but good. Tomorrow you said there'll be some back testing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I always like looking at, one of my favorite things is to always base decisions on really small data sets.
Especially when Matt's not here, right? You can just do it the Wild West.
My favorite.
The compliance officer's gone.
My favorite.
Now, you normally, Rusty and Troy, do you normally, I know you've done back testing.
Yeah.
Will you lay off? Does the data tell you? Yes. I feel like a Moneyball conversation. I'm interviewing who's the guy?
He is Billy Bean.
He is Billy Bean. Yeah, I'm interviewing Billy Bean here.
Oh, no.
Folks, have you found that in terms of DCs and stuff?
Yeah.
are you taking the foot off the throttle because you've noticed on these shortened weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
I posted this in the Discord. Shout out to the Discord if you're not in there. It's a great place to learn. So I posted a screenshot. So I have a lot of DCs that trade all the way back to 2017 when we got the 3-a-day, mid 2016, whatever you want to say, where we got Monday, Wednesday, Friday on SPXW. And so back to then, it's a clear pattern where you can see DCs, 2, 4, 5, 7, 1, 3, that kind of thing. 923, a bunch of them do really well if you exclude holiday weeks. And then if you do the inverse and you only trade, it's a very clear, it's a straight downward. And why? Because you need the longs to retain value, and you also need the market to not move too much. And the problem is, it seems like one or two things happens more often to where the edge is gone on these short weeks, which is either all the premium bakes off for that Friday or whatever, because everyone's like, it's a holiday week and there's just not much conviction and the vol just gets crushed on your longs, or because there's hardly any volume, you get these outsized moves compared to what
that's right
you pay. So it seems really unpredictable. I think there's a user on our Discord who calls it light and frothy trading. That's Wizzy. Shout out to Wizzy. He's called it that for years. Light and frothy, when you get this low conviction, people are just day trading, pumping the thing up and down. It's just garbage. So do I want to trade mechanical trades on holiday weeks when the institutions and everyone else is in the Bahamas or whatever they're doing? No, I personally don't want to do it. Or if I do, there's a few trades that do well, like buying premiums, like buying, Ricks and Orbs and things like that seem to still do well.
Yeah.
If you wait for the right time and kind of buy cheap premium and get out when you get some kind of crazy outsized move during the week. So that's kind of a long answer to your question, Dan, but I have found that staying out, and it's a double bonus because then you get a mental break. You get a mental break from trading and thinking about trading.
That is win-win. That is, I mean, two things that, like you said, taking a mental break. People are like, I'm on vacation, I still have stuff. I think it just helps your trading if you don't do anything. And then the second thing is, like you just made a comment about buying Ricks when the vol's low. I mean, you think about, again, Ricks are long gamma. You get long deltas on the way up, short deltas on the way down, but you have a very bad thing in the middle called negative theta on the Greeks, which can really be painful. And I think that's a great thing to think about on Thanksgiving week, that if we get these good hammered dips in the volatility, you might use those occasionally to put on some Ricks this week. And that might be an opportunity. I mean, the only negative against that thesis this week so far is I don't think most Thanksgiving weeks we come into it at these high VIX. So yes, that can be hold over time, but I think VIX would have to get, before I would say I'm going to do a Rick because of low vol, we need to come down a little more than 22.
Yes.
I would think.
Yeah. Or prove that we're going to stay above 22, but this isn't the week for that either.
Or prove we're going to stay. This isn't the week.
But you can. So there's a few things on that, right? So we found you can add some backtest conditions. We added this earlier this year, but the intraday VIX move. So what you could do is say, okay, if VIX is down overnight, like it is today, right?
Yeah.
And you've got an intraday move where VIX continues to get crushed. Maybe you double up on it. So what's the theory there? The theory is VIX got crushed overnight and is getting crushed over day. Two things could happen. Either we get a short squeeze and it continues to rocket straight up, which you'll win if you have a Rick, or you'll get maybe some mean reversion. Maybe we'll gap close, right? Because it's like we gapped up and we continue to go up, and volatility, so it's cheap. You're buying it when premium is at its cheapest. Maybe not for the entire day, because you can't forward guess. If we did, we'd be a millionaire tomorrow. But the point is, you wait for it to continue to get cheaper. So you don't enter at 935 or whatever. You wait for it to continue to get cheaper. Then you pounce, and you hope for a mean reversion, and that's all it takes.
Well, think about Thursday. I mean, Thursday of last week, which was the huge candle day.
Yeah.
Okay, vol got crushed. We closed at. But the low of the VIX in the early morning was 19. right? Now you would say normally I'm not buying premium at 19, but I remember looking at Long Vega at that point, and then VIX has gone up. So in a high vol environment similar to 2022, the numbers change. Like Troy's mentioning, you don't have a 12 to 19 VIX level, right? So the low 19 was like, when you look at Thursday, was like, wow, this is pretty cheap compared to. So I think it's 19 or 18. I'm not sure what it is. Troy, what do you think? You're the on the vol at this point. What would you consider in the environment we've been in, which is Mad Max candles, right? What would you consider 18 kind of or
the floor?
Yeah,
man, I don't know. I'll be real conservative. I mean, I think 16 has been like the ultimate floor this year. I don't know if we've dropped much beyond 15. And I will say that's kind of a high VIX environment for all-time highs. Like you think about like the fact that we have been at all-time highs for a good portion of the year, and we can't get below 15 in VIX.
Right.
I mean, listen, we like DCs a lot, and it's been a good year because of that. I mean, that's
you take
DCs,
it.
you take it.
Yeah.
I'm always glad when Rusty's on. I went through this weekend because I was on vacation last week. I forgot to turn back on a lot of my DCs. So this weekend I flipped everything back on. And then immediately when Rusty just said it's a short week, I had to secretly go in and just close all my DC, like pause all my DCs again. So shout out Rusty for just dropping alpha, as they say.
Well, I mean, who knows? It could crush this week. You never know. Like it's like
Dan said, but the data shows you're right. I mean, we've all tested that data, so yeah, that's 100% the
trust
case.
The data. Don't have FOMO. Here's what I would suggest: if you're convinced by it, and don't do like 10 tests. Like like the sample size for all the holidays across 9 years now is big enough to where I was like, this is a clear pattern. I'm going to turn it off. But once you do that, my suggestion would be don't look at it. Don't be like, well, what would a 2-4 have done this? Don't do that. You're just gonna, it's just bad mental game, and you're gonna have FOMO. Just leave it off and enjoy your holiday week. Eat too much food. It's great.
Right.
We talked last week. I'm gonna do this just for a couple minutes today, and then the rest of the week's gonna be some fun Thanksgiving stuff. So, but let's ease into it. Last week we had a wild day, Thursday, and we started talking. Matt mentioned that he buys a put every day, a 0-day put.
Oh yeah.
And I want to shout out Gets Out Alive, because Gets Out Alive shared in the Discord a version of a 0-day put, and I thought it was exciting. Rusty and I used to go deadlift together when we were in the office, and I always depended on Rusty. And this is bad on my part, it's lazy on my part, but when someone has such more mental acuity than you kind of rely on them. And so when I would deadlift, I'd be like, Rusty, what's my record? How much do I supposed to do, Rusty? And sometimes I wouldn't even learn. I wouldn't speak correctly. I just be like, Rusty, tell Troy, and he'd tell Troy. So Rusty, Dan, I mean, looking at this is an interesting one to me, because it has a good amount of trades, but anytime a hedge, I have found that hedges trick people, because you kind of have to forget some of the rules that you usually follow.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is like, that's not a high win rate. So can you trust that? And I want to speak to that a little bit this morning, or maybe get your guys' thoughts about this. But first off, what is this trade? This trade is a put that you buy. It's 0-day. It's a 15 delta put. And you're going to open this anytime between 9:32 and 2:45. You're going to do one contract per trade on this. Only when the VIX is a max of 20. So the ceiling is 20. And you're going to buy this, just what Rusty was talking about a while ago with the intraday VIX. You're going to buy this when VIX goes up 2%. So something's happening in the market. Vol's starting to rise. You buy a 0-day 15 delta put. The other thing is there's a gap down, basically max of 0.5%. The exit, you're gonna set a stop loss at 70%, but then you're gonna trail it after 100%.
Mm.
That's the trade. Now, I'll show you kind of what it's done. And
yeah,
the last one is kind of interesting. That was Thursday. Which is,
oh my goodness.
You bought that for $480 and sold it for 146. Yeah. Yeah,
14,000.
Yeah, one contract, 14,000. So, you know, what, Rusty, we've talked about this for years with like 0-day hedges. Do they exist?
Well, this is fascinating, right? Because it's sort of taking what I said and saying, Rusty, you're an idiot, because you're buying premium when it's getting more expensive, right? It's a floating entry anytime basically before power hour, anytime before the last hour of the day. And you're saying, if VIX is increasing, I'm going to go with the trend. But there's a caveat here. You don't want to do it when it's too expensive, because above 20 and you're paying, gosh, way more money. Your return on investment's not going to be as good when VIX is. So it's almost like this. Maybe this is a way to phrase it. You're buying like a transition in the VIX, right? So it's below 20.
That's right.
And you're saying, hey, this thing, we might explode today.
See,
Yep, 100%.
I like this one because I think, as Rusty said, the word transition. When you're saying a VIX Max 20, you're saying we're going from a previous weather environment of the market doing more up days than down days. And we could have been at 16 or 15 or 17, but now we're starting to crank, right? And so it's not too high, like 27, 28, where it's going to drop 4 or 5 vol points if we come up, right? And this may be a little more sticky, right? At least for the day. So I like that 2%. At first I was getting excited. I thought it was minimum 2 points, but that's 2%. Okay, so
right.
But still, yeah, I think you're basically saying to go with it when we actually have a down day, right?
Yeah.
We're saying it may stick, for the day.
And what's funny about this type of trade is interesting, and this is kind of why I wanted to hit on this. If you're a 0-day seller and you like researching, one of the things that I think is interesting about this test is that there actually might be room for you to sell put spreads with these same criteria. And now, why would you do that? That's up to you, whether you should do that or not in backtest. But there might be a way to combine this with a 0-day put spread that actually, or a condor or something like that, that actually benefits both, to where it really creates a hedge. This is the hedge, a true hedge at this point, to find a different trade that's long delta. Those ideas are always interesting to me going into backtesting week, Thanksgiving week, because I think, does that make sense what I'm saying, guys?
Yes.
I mean,
well, I don't know. I mean, if it's this positive expectancy for this setup, I don't think I'd want to sell premium. I mean, perhaps you could invert some of it. So you're saying, if the VIX is moving up, right, rather than down, or sorry, moving down rather than up, then you sell, and then you buy if it starts to move down, right? So I don't know. Like, maybe you take a couple different. That's a little more complex, but.
What I like about this, I mean, here's a scenario I could see on that, Troy. Maybe I'm, again, with the hedge, just kind of like a hedge leading. Okay, you got the put. All right, we're into when we get the put, right? That means the vol has popped a bit, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's alive, right? You got a 15 delta or 20. If it keeps going on, it's alive, and you're going to get some long deltas. And it's almost like turning it into a sense, a bit of I don't want to say a butterfly or something, but if you do a put credit spread at that point, okay, I've got this 15 delta, the power of a net long put. It's almost like a little bit of hedge. I'll go sell okay, you did a 15. Do I sell? And I don't know. I'd have to test whether it be a call side or put side. sell the put side. I think some of that more in the hedge part, right? Because that 15 delta is only it's going to die on the vines most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Even when you buy the 15 delta, it doesn't mean it's going to be profitable, right?
That's right.
I mean, because Thursday, for it to be profitable, had to be going down.
Troy, you're not getting enough trades. You need to ignore margin requirement because you only did 2%. You're only getting 85.
Oh, good catch. Good catch.
Ignore the MR on this. Sorry, Dan, to interrupt. But
no, that's.
Well, no, tick the box.
I know, but if you have 100%, you can just do one contract at a time, and you should be.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not plus EV. Do this. Switch move. VIX move up to VIX move down. So do the opposite, right? So we're saying it's low vol. There wasn't too much of a gap down, and VIX is going the other way, right? So let's say it open, because you can have both in the same day. It could go, VIX could get crushed. Boom, there you go. So maybe you combine this with the other one. So VIX is moving up, you sell it, but then it starts to go back down. Then you buy it, right? And now to Dan's point, it's not quite a butterfly. It's more like you've got a 50 delta put and then a 10 away and then a 15 delta even way further away, right? So you've got this sort of inverted. You're still long net units.
What would be fun? Sell the put spread to pay for the.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what would be fun about that is put that in a portfolio and compare those days and see how many days both happen. And that would give you a lot of insight about those type of things. So, I mean, that's the dream, right? Like I don't sell a lot of 0-day premium, personally speaking. And I don't think so. I don't want to sell I don't want to speak for Rusty, but he doesn't either.
I don't sell any premium. Well, okay. I sell premium in the sense of I buy condors. So you're always selling technically. Right, with the condor, you're still selling premium there.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
I'm not selling credit spreads at all these days. I'm just out of it.
Yeah. But saying that to say, we also recognize that we're in the minority with this.
Very much so.
And so we also, we recognize that it is what it is. So I think it's interesting, the idea of saying, could you put together a 0-day? I mean, that's the dream, really, I think, as a 0-day put selling strategy that also has a 0-day hedge that goes with it that is positive EV. It's not a drag on the portfolio.
Yeah.
That's a hard task that I haven't seen many people do, but
that test was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Can I ask Matt, or not Matt?
You can't ask Matt.
I can't.
He's not going to answer.
I got a question for you. Would you consider this? Okay. All right. So Troy and Rusty said, no, I probably wouldn't sell 0-day and all that. But let me ask you a question. Just in the spirit of, you will do some DCs a little bit further out, right? 923 or something. Sure. Agree? Yeah. So would there be a scenario, have you tested VIX is 22, 23, 24. I wouldn't maybe do a 0-day, right?
Right.
But would you go to maybe a 10-day iron condor, a 12-day? Have you tested that? If the VIX gets, and you might put a max on that, I don't know, max 20. Would you entertain that, or have you tested that? Either of you?
I love the idea of it. I'm not opposed to selling premium like carte blanche. I'm okay with it. I would love to do a 14-day, 7-day, 10-day, 21-day, whatever, something that makes sense when the vol is juiced. I haven't found a credit spread or a condor that I like yet. That doesn't mean there's not one out there, because I am generally, when I look at my portfolio, I got a lot of double calendars in there. I got some inverse condors, right? Where you're long delta, your long movement, both sides, long gamma. So I would love to mix it up and put some sort of structure in there that's short vol to sort of balance out my portfolio. That's the dream. I just haven't found one that I like the edge on. I don't like it when the edge is like razor thin and the tiniest amount of slippage just kills the trade, right? To me, not my favorite thing. But that's where what you're talking about, you're going to get a lot more premium, hopefully, right? Like I don't want to be selling $1 things with tight stops. If I could find something, it'd be great in a certain kind of market, right? Like let's say that vol's pumped a whole lot and you know it's going to go down probably, or you're going to take a shot at vol collapsing a little bit.
Yeah.
I would love to find something.
Yeah. I mean, like on Friday, I just put a small, like iron condor on towards the end of the day. I just looked at the vol, but I wanted enough duration so that the negative gamma is pretty low that I can handle a big move. But on the other hand, you don't want to go, I think this was like 3.5 weeks out, but you don't want to go too far, right? Now, I'm not as concerned with theta on those because it's really more of a vol play, right? Because if you're 3 to 4 weeks out on an iron condor, you're just saying, if the volatility comes down, that's going to be as good as a shorter term theta, right? Because, 1 point of volatility coming down. But that's what I'd like to test when the vols are coming up. Now, when you go 11 or 12 days, you still get a relatively low gamma. I mean, compared to 0 day, but but whether it tests or something like that, when it's 23 or 22 is another thing. But you would think if you can do DCs, if you can find DCs, which is the same foundation as an iron condor, you're selling a strangle. If you can get a 923 to work, you should be able to get something in that 9 to 15 day for iron condor to work okay. I mean, I think for me, the key is I've always been a big proponent. People say, well, I'm going to sell volatility when it's high. And I'm like, I think you're missing half the sentence there, right? I don't sell volatility when it's high. I sell volatility when it's high, which means the market's getting hammered when there's some signs that the world isn't going to end, right? Where you want a little bit of a pull. You want some two-way. You don't want to, because I mean, again, I hate to keep bringing up like the COVID correction. Yeah, you could have sold vol at 20, at 30, at 40, at 50, at 60, and then you run out of money. So I think you need to see a little bit of two-way.
I've thought for years, like, and one day I'm going to have the guts to do it if we ever get to this point again. But I thought about this way too much, sleeping at night, thinking about it, dreaming about it. If VIX got to 80, I think I would do like a 10 to 14 day, 50 wide, 50 delta put spread.
Yeah.
And I would sell like 1 billion of them. And I would try to take 5.
That's a lot. That's a lot. You had me till billion.
I think
you had me till 1 billion. Yeah.
But here's the kicker to your point, Dan. And data is important. Like, I think I would take like 5% profit on that. I wouldn't let it ride. And maybe I should let it ride. But the theory for me is like VIX, when you're at that level, you're going to have some back and forth at that level. You might not, to your point, you might not have any back and forth at 20 or 30 or 40.
Right. Yeah.
But when you reach a kind of critical mass level in VIX, like an apocalyptic level, some of those intraday, like VIX, it's really, really hard for VIX to stay at 80 for longer than a couple minutes at a time, to be honest.
Well, and at VIX at 80, you can guarantee we've been in a correction or more.
That's right. That's right.
Guaranteed. I mean, at 80, I mean, at 30, you can say, you look at the market is recently down 7 or 8% off its highs or whatever. But at 80, it's like, are we going to close the exchanges and keep our kids in the house and
that's right
in the backyard and everything? Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Are we all heading to Rusty's? Rusty's
garden. My Hobbit hole, my garden.
We're going to hide in the Hobbit hole. Yeah.
Live off the land. Yeah.
Live off the land.
Like I said, I would love to find something like that. Like you said, Dan, like vol's getting juiced, but it's not the end of the world, right?
Right. And
buy the dip a little bit. Buy the dip. Yeah. Whatever, however you want to say it.
And I think what Troy's saying, in a lot of those cases, again, to get the vol to go down, the market has to go up. So I think I'd almost at times rather do the put credit spread than the iron condor, because what I've noticed is, like, if you said to me on Friday, towards the end of the day, okay, you're going to do an iron condor.
Yeah.
I go, yeah. I mean, the problem is the risk is very low. If we go up, you can handle 80, 90 points, 100 points up, but the volatility, what you make in volatility, you'll give up in price move. I think you have to lean a little bit. You got to lean long delta on that thing. Otherwise, right? And that's why I think Troy is hitting it right between the eyeballs saying, put credit spread. But I think, yeah, 80, but the problem with 80 is you have to have the courage of,
it's tough.
Of Daniel and the Lion's Den, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's to do that at 80, you're convinced you're already packing your family, and you're in the bunker, right? At 80.
100%. Well, I mean, listen, I could talk a lot about that. That's VIX 80 is something that Papa Bear enjoys talking about.
I thought you were going to talk about bunkers a lot. I was going to say, tell us more, Troy.
No. Yeah, that's right. Listen, Rusty's going to be with us this week. That's a joy and an honor.
Yeah.
I mean, day one, just immediately coming out of the mine, dropping alpha. That's, yeah. So, guys, listen, have a great trading day. Tomorrow we'll look at some Thanksgiving stuff. If you have any things that you want to look at, join. Well, first off, like and subscribe. Hit that. Just absolutely smash the like and subscribe. And then secondly, get in the Discord and OO discussion channel and put in some trades you want to look at for tomorrow, if you've got any. If not, we will look at some Thanksgiving stuff that has been fun throughout the years to look at. So with very small data sets that you should have extreme confidence in. So listen, you guys have a great